Most expats who move to Vietnam make the same mistake. They pick a city based on a travel memory. Maybe it was a weekend trip, a great meal, or just a beautiful sunset. And then, like 6 months later, they're miserable. Because, visiting a city and actually living in it are two completely different things. Vietnam has over 60 provinces. But honestly, only a handful of cities are genuinely set up for expats who want to live well, spend less, and actually enjoy their daily life. So in this video, we're going to break down the 7 best cities in Vietnam for expats in 2026, covering cost of living, lifestyle, job opportunities, and most importantly, which city actually matches your situation. Because the right city for a digital nomad is completely different from the right city for a retiree. And the right city for someone building a business is nothing like the right city for someone who just wants peace, coffee, and a mountain view. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which city is right for you. Let's get into it. If you're moving to Vietnam for work, business, or career growth, there is really only one city that makes sense, and that's Ho Chi Minh City. This is Vietnam's economic engine, a population of over 10 million in the city proper, and over 20 million in the greater metro area. Multinational corporations, tech startups, manufacturing giants, financial services, marketing agencies. If there's a serious job opportunity in Vietnam, there's a very high chance it's located here. Think of it like Vietnam's version of Shanghai or New York. Fast, loud, international, and it never really sleeps. The expat community here is massive. People from the United States, Europe, South Korea, Japan, Australia, all living and working side by side. Districts like District 1, District 2, and District 7 have fully developed expat ecosystems. International schools, Western restaurants, co-working spaces, rooftop bars, and world-class hospitals. Now let's talk money. If you're young and living simply, you can get by on around $700 to $1,000 per month. If you want a comfortable lifestyle, like, a nice apartment, eating out regularly, maybe some travel on weekends, budget between $1,500 and $2,500 per month. And if you want luxury, penthouse apartment, daily restaurant meals, frequent cocktails at a rooftop bar, you're looking at $3,000 or more. The biggest cost is always accommodation. District 1, right in the center, will run you $500 to $1,000 per month for a one-bedroom. Move to the outer districts like District 7 or Tu Duc, and you'll pay significantly less, often $300 to $600 for the same quality. The downside? Traffic is brutal, pollution is real, and the noise never fully stops. If you're sensitive to chaos, Ho Chi Minh City will wear you down fast. But if you thrive in a high-energy environment and you're here to build something, career, business, network, no other city in Vietnam comes close. Now, if Ho Chi Minh City is Vietnam's New York, then Hanoi is its Washington, D.C., except with far better food and, honestly, a much deeper soul. Hanoi is the capital city. It's where the government is, where most NGOs and international organizations are based, and where you'll find a strong diplomatic community. If your work involves government relations, education, policy, or the nonprofit sector, Hanoi is where you need to be. But beyond work, Hanoi has something that Ho Chi Minh City simply doesn't: genuine culture. Ancient temples, French colonial architecture, narrow old quarter streets, and honestly, a food scene that many people argue is the best in all of Vietnam. Pho in Hanoi just hits differently. Bun cha, banh mi, egg coffee, the food alone is a reason to live here. Here's something most people don't really think about when choosing between the two cities. Hanoi actually has 4 seasons. You get cool winters, warm springs, hot summers, and beautiful autumns. For expats coming from Europe, North America, or Northeast Asia, that seasonal rhythm feels familiar and grounding. Cost of living is slightly lower than Ho Chi Minh City overall. Budget expats can live on $700 to $900 per month. A comfortable lifestyle runs around $1,200 to $2,000 per month. The most popular expat neighborhood is Tay Ho, the West Lake area, where you can find a one-bedroom apartment for $400 to $900 per month, depending on how close you are to the lake. The downside is that Hanoi winters can be cold, gray, and damp. And if you're moving from a tropical country, that can be a genuine shock. The job market is also smaller than Ho Chi Minh City, with fewer multinational employers. But if you want culture, history, incredible food, and a city that still feels Vietnamese rather than just international, Hanoi will get under your skin in the best possible way. So, this is where things start to get interesting, because Da Nang offers something that neither Hanoi nor Ho Chi Minh City can: genuine balance. You get the beach in the morning, city convenience during the day, and mountains in the evening. And honestly, it's home to one of the most relaxed expat communities in all of Southeast Asia. Da Nang sits right in the middle of Vietnam's central coast. It's about a 1-hour flight from both Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. Plus, it's within easy reach of 2 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. That's ancient Hoi An Town and the My Son Sanctuary. For expats who love weekend exploration, the location is almost perfect. The city itself actually won the ASEAN Award for Environmentally Sustainable City, and you really do feel it. The streets are cleaner, the air is cleaner, and people genuinely seem less stressed. This is the #1 city in Vietnam for what a lot of folks call the FIRE lifestyle. Financially independent, retire early. Remote workers, freelancers, semi-retirees, and digital nomads have been quietly building a community here for years. And in 2026, that community is bigger and better connected than ever. Cost of living here is honestly very manageable. If you're on a budget lifestyle, you're looking at around $600 to $900 per month. For something a bit more comfortable, it's about $1,000 to $1,800 per month. Rent in the city center or near the beach runs about $300 to $700 per month for a 1-bedroom. Now, the main downside is the job market. If you need local employment, Da Nang is limited. It's primarily tourism and hospitality. But if you work remotely or run your own business, this city will give you a quality of life that's really hard to find anywhere else in Vietnam. One little warning though, typhoon season runs from October to November. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something you definitely want to plan around. If you've never heard of Da Lat, you're about to understand why so many expats call it Vietnam's best-kept secret. Da Lat sits in the Central Highlands, roughly an hour flight from Ho Chi Minh City and an hour and a half from Hanoi. At 1,500 meters above sea level, the temperature averages around 20 degrees Celsius year-round. Every single day in Da Lat honestly feels like a perfect spring morning. The French colonial government actually built Da Lat in the 1920s as a place to rest and recover from the tropical heat. And you know, that design philosophy is still visible everywhere you look. Rolling hills, pine forests, French villas, flower farms, coffee plantations, and some of the most dramatic waterfalls in Southeast Asia. This is not a city for career expats. Let's be very clear about that. The job market is almost entirely limited to tourism and agriculture. If you need employment or business opportunities, Da Lat is not your city. But if you're retired, semi-retired, a creative professional, or someone who works fully remotely and values peace, nature, and incredibly affordable living, Da Lat is genuinely special. Cost of living here is among the lowest of any livable city in Vietnam. Budget expats can live on just $500 to $700 per month. A comfortable lifestyle costs $900 to $1,400 per month. Rent is remarkably cheap, often just $200 to $500 per month for a nice 1-bedroom with a garden view. The expat community is small but growing, and the coffee culture here is extraordinary. Da Lat is one of Vietnam's main coffee-growing regions, and you will never run out of beautiful quiet cafes to work from. If your priority is quality of life over career, very few places in Asia can compete with Da Lat. Nha Trang is Vietnam's beach resort capital, and you know it's becoming increasingly serious as a place to actually live, not just visit. Situated on a stunning bay on the south-central coast, Nha Trang has long been known for its clear water, fresh seafood, and honestly, that relaxed pace of life. What's changed in recent years is the infrastructure around it. Cam Ranh, just south of the city, has become a significant real estate and hospitality investment zone. New resorts, new residential developments, and a growing international airport are all pulling serious money into the region. For expats interested in real estate investment or the hospitality business, Nha Trang right now offers real upside. The expat community currently sits at around 4,000 people. Americans, Australians, Canadians, Europeans, and a growing number of Asian expats. It's not a huge community, but it's established, friendly, and, yeah, well organized. Healthcare is adequate for most situations. VUNG International Hospital and Tom Tree Hospital both receive strong reviews from the local expat community. For anything more serious, Ho Chi Minh City is just a 1-hour flight away. Cost of living is very reasonable. Budget lifestyle, $600 to $900 per month. Comfortable lifestyle, $1,000 to $1,600 per month. Rent for a one-bedroom runs $250 to $600 per month depending on location. The downside is that outside of tourism and hospitality, the job market is limited. And during peak tourist season, the city can feel overwhelmed by visitors. But for retirees and remote workers looking for beach life with modern conveniences, TRANG delivers consistently. QUOC is Vietnam's fastest growing expat destination, and honestly, most people still don't even know it. This island sits out in the Gulf of Thailand, just off the southwestern tip of Vietnam. Just 5 years ago, it was a quiet fishing island. Today, it's got an international airport, luxury resorts, a growing residential property market, and, get this, a special economic zone that actually offers real tax advantages for businesses and investors. Most nationalities can enter QUOC visa-free for up to 30 days, which, by the way, is different from the rest of Vietnam and makes it super attractive if you want to test out island life before fully committing. The lifestyle here is honestly a true tropical paradise. We're talking white sand beaches, crystal clear water, fresh seafood markets, and beautiful sunsets every single evening. Think Bali, but before the crowds showed up and while the prices are still totally affordable. The cost of living runs just a bit higher than mainland cities because, well, there's that island premium on imported goods. For a budget lifestyle, you're looking at around $700 to $1,000 per month. If you want something more comfortable, it's about $1,200 to $2,000 per month. Rent for a one-bedroom? That's usually between $300 and $700 per month. The investment case for QUOC real estate is honestly still pretty compelling in 2026. Prices are still way below what you'd see in comparable beach destinations in Thailand or Bali, and there's a ton of infrastructure investment still pouring in. Of course, there are a couple of downsides. Local healthcare is limited. Anything serious means you'll need to catch a flight to the mainland. And there's definitely a bit of island isolation that some expats find tough in the long run. But for those who really embrace the lifestyle, QUOC offers something genuinely rare. A tropical paradise that's still affordable and still somehow undiscovered by the mainstream. And the final city on this list is, honestly, one of the most practical and underrated expat destinations in all of Vietnam. Vung Tau sits just 125 kilometers from Ho Chi Minh City. That's roughly a 2-hour drive, or, a fast ferry ride across the bay. It has 42 kilometers of coastline, a relaxed local culture, and a cost of living that will genuinely surprise you. Here's what makes Vung Tau unique. It gives you beach life without forcing you to give up access to the big city. Many expats living in Vung Tau actually work in Ho Chi Minh City, commuting in for meetings or, working remotely the rest of the week. Others are fully retired and just enjoy the dramatically lower cost of living compared to both HCMC and other beach destinations like Nha Trang or Da Nang. The numbers are striking. A one-bedroom apartment set back from the beach costs just $250 to $300 per month. A beachfront apartment with ocean views runs around $500 per month. Overall cost of living is estimated to be 50 to 60% cheaper than Australia, which is why, honestly, many Australian expats in particular have quietly made Vung Tau their home. The city has real history too. The Christ of Vung Tau statue, the White Palace, Long Sun Temple, and the Bac Din are all worth exploring. The petroleum industry has historically given the city an economic base that many comparable beach towns lack. The downside is a smaller international community compared to Da Nang or Nha Trang, and limited high-end international amenities. But if your priority is affordable coastal living with a short connection to Vietnam's biggest city, Vung Tau is the smartest choice on this entire list. Before we wrap up, here's a simple way to decide which city is right for you. Ask yourself 3 questions. Question 1. Do you need to work locally in Vietnam? If yes, Ho Chi Minh City for business and corporate roles. Hanoi for government, education, and NGO work. Question 2. Do you want beach life with modern convenience? If yes, Da Nang for balance and sustainability, TRANG for a relaxed resort lifestyle, VUNG Tao for affordable beach living close to HCMC, QUOC for true tropical island life. Question 3. Do you value peace, nature, and low cost above everything else? If yes, Dalat is your answer, no competition. Vietnam in 2026 is still one of the best countries in the world for expats who want to live well without spending a fortune. But the city you choose will define your entire experience. Get it right, and Vietnam will give you a quality of life that most people back home can't imagine. Get it wrong, and you'll be on a plane home within a year wondering what went wrong. The good news is, you now have everything you need to make the right call. Drop a comment below and tell us, which city are you choosing? And if you're still deciding, tell us your situation. Beach or city, working or retired, budget or comfort, and we'll help you figure it out. If you found this video helpful, make sure you watch our next video on the true cost of living in Vietnam in 2026, because the numbers will surprise you.